Welcome into the Unwritten Rule Podcast, your number one stop shop for all sports and media news. I'm your host, Monzi, and today I will be reviewing Jackson Arnold's recent play after fans have raved, the casual fans, of course, have raved that Michael Hawkins gets a chance to start and try to see what he can do in the offense. Now, starting off, please just be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel for more content, especially OU content. Try to drop it as much as I can. Yes, Arnold's play has been very mediocre. I do like when he used his legs last week. I felt that Seth Littrell designed a game plan for Arnold to build some rhythm, but I'm not super high on that. If we're being honest, everyone, we can all agree that a high school quarterback or a backup quarterback, third string quarterback, could do the game plan that was presented for Arnold on against U of H and then against Tulane. I'm not going to go into the details of how basic that play calling was, but it was very basic. I mean, slant. You know what I mean? Slant, out, a go, a post, run if you need to. Very below college level. A lot of quarterbacks can do this across the nation. Now, I'm not going to say a lot of quarterbacks as talented as Arnold, and I'm not going to say a lot of quarterbacks could do what Arnold is doing behind this offensive line, especially the left side of the offensive line when you have a right-handed quarterback. So I don't like that at all. But I feel like the O-line will obviously is going to take some games to build them guys up, and you have to establish a run game to make the O-line a nastier group of football players. I mean, when you establish the run and O-line keeps beating down that D-line, the first and second group of the D-line, and they're beating down the linebackers too. Hell, you got some linemen working their way up, blocking the safeties. When you got stuff like that, I mean, hey, I think the team will be okay. But it is going to take some time for some development on the offensive line. I don't think it's going to, be next season, but I do think this season, at some point, the offensive line will straighten up. I'm not too worried about that. Now, the play calling, it doesn't match the system at all. The receivers don't look good. The offensive line doesn't look good. And the quarterback play has not been good. And the game plan for the quarterback has been very mediocre. It's been very simple, very basic. And I understand that you have to build rhythm, but what happened from the Arizona bowl game till now? And we are in the SEC. Deion Burks will not be open all the time. I'm pretty sure teams are aware of who the best player is, and they also are aware of the player that gets the most target. And I understand that you guys think this is high school sometimes, where you can just chunk the ball up to the best player who's a 5-star, 4-star, whatever you want to consider him to be, and he'll make a play. This is not going to be that. We are in the SEC. Coaches are reviewing stuff. Coaches review things all the way to the third string. It's there's a game plan for everybody. So I don't think Deion Burks is going to be the answer for this offense either. This offense doesn't have speed. It lacks speed in a lot of areas. There's nobody that can make an explosive play. And I hate to say it, but the only person I've seen do that, aside from Deion Burks, is Tatum, the running back. He's the only one that looks like he can run with this offensive line. He's the only one that looks like he can, gain yards, but they're tough yards. He's not breaking out 40 yards down the field for a run. None of the running backs are. They're barely making it. I don't even think this running back group right now that DeMarco Murray has is averaging probably 4 yards per carry. I would not be surprised if they're not averaging 4 yards per carry. I mean, I was at the game, at the Tulane game, and it didn't look like anything was going 4 yards over per carry. Arnold had more yards, obviously, than the running backs, but that's a different situation. With Arnold, man, just like I said, he's been inaccurate. He has been inaccurate, and I can't fault Littrell in that aspect. My thing with Arnold is, man, just stay focused, keep your head down, and keep moving forward. No one's going to really like how you play. until you put up a crazy extravagant Heisman numbers like an Oklahoma quarterback in the past has done for us. But it's your first season. I sat and watched Spencer Rattler, and I never thought Spencer Rattler was a starting quarterback. And hey, apparently he ended up not being a starting quarterback for Oklahoma. It apparently was Caleb Williams was the better one. And I watched the spring game. I knew Caleb Williams was a better quarterback in the spring. But Marvin Mims was cussing out Spencer Rattler in a spring game because he wouldn't throw the ball on time. So I don't think it's that. But we're going to have to find ways to make these receivers get vertical down the field. Also, I feel like the effort from the receivers has been costing Arnold too. You guys cannot be lackadaisical running your routes. It's full speed every single play. And the receiver coach for Oklahoma, forgot the name, but the receiver coach for Oklahoma needs to figure that out too. You guys are running 100% down the field. It doesn't matter what your route is. If you have to run 5 yards and stop, 10 yards and stop, it needs to be full speed. I mean, it was too many times in the Tulane game that I seen Tulane playing man coverage across the board and sending the blitz, and then none of you guys are able to get open. It's man coverage across the board. Not one of our DBs is able to get open. And yes, they're going to double team your first option, which is who? Deion Burks. We have to figure out a way to use Bauer Sharp. We're going to have to figure out a way to use Ferguson, our tight end. Roberts, our tight end. We're going to have to figure out a way to use those guys. And we're going to have to definitely figure out a way to establish the run game, or I don't think Arnold will be looking like a starting quarterback in any aspect for this football team this year. Now, for the fans that think Michael Hawkins is the answer, I'll be honest with y'all. And I'm not I'm not one of those guys that want to lose Arnold in any aspect. I will say this for the fans that do think that Arnold should be benched. The thing about benching Arnold is if you bench him, you ain't going to get him back. He's gone. He was highly recruited coming out of high school. One of the main teams that wanted him is Notre Dame, and you see how much of a shit show Notre Dame looks like. And Marcus Freeman wanted him really bad. So I think Marcus Freeman will try to find a way to sell his soul to get Arnold back. And the way Texas A&M is looking, and a couple more teams around Oklahoma, they think, they would take a risk on Arnold. I'm pretty sure they would take a risk on a quarterback that was the second best quarterback coming out of high school. He's a 5-star recruit, and he came from a high school he's coming from a college that is a high-level college. Not all players work out at high-level programs, but I don't think that's the case with this. But I'm just saying, the fans that act like you want to bench Arnold, the moment you bench him, I'm pretty sure that him and his family will have a conversation about him transferring to a different school. I'm pretty sure they're opening the doors to listen to those talks. I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, you can say what you want to say, but don't be boohoo crying like when Caleb left and went with Riley, and you guys boohoo cried about that. Do not do that, because as you can see, you pretty much forced the man out of town. So don't be sad when Arnold leaves, because I believe if he gets benched, he will not come back to the University of Oklahoma, and he will transfer after this season. I believe that. I believe he thinks he's a starting quarterback, and I believe he wants to be on the field. Now, I will say this, like I said a little bit before, it touched based on that, which was the game plan. Now, if Arnold can only do the game plan from the U of H game to the Tulane game, yes, once you start playing these SEC games, you might have to bench him. And I think around the time that you would try to bench him is probably after the Texas game. I would let him have that whole run and see what he can do. I'm a team guy, and I think the people that want Arnold to be on the bench are team people too. They just are not good with explaining themselves. Football is a team sport, and you need the best of the best to be out on the football field, and you need the players that make the team better to be out on the football field. Do I think Hawkins could strive in this offense? Yes. I believe Hawkins is able to use his legs much better than Arnold is. So when it's time to just run around the pocket crazy like a Kyler Murray all game or a Johnny Manziel, I feel like Hawkins will do that way better than Arnold. So plays will be able to be extended, and maybe he's able to make plays down the field. Now, I'm not saying that the guy isn't a turnover machine by any. I've never seen him play. I've only seen him play in the spring game. And the only thing about spring games is you wake up from the dorm room, the same people that you go against in practice is the same people that you pretty much sleep next to at night. You know what I mean? So you know the guys, you know what the guys are good at, you know their speed. It's different when you got to go against different teams, different players, different coaching staffs, different philosophy, different schemes. It's different when you have to go against stuff like that. So Littrell hasn't opened up the playbook either from game one till now. So I guess maybe we're saving plays also. So when the plays start opening up, and I would love to see plays go downfield. I really do think that Arnold has a chance to perform well. Now, do I think he performs well against Tennessee? I don't know. I will be dropping a video on that very soon this week. But I think once you open up the playbook, we'll have a better look and a better understanding of what Arnold is. And yes, you're going to have to throw the ball downfield. This team has not been able to do anything downfield. That's why teams are able to stay in the games with us. There's no big plays downfield. If it wasn't for penalties driving us down the field most of these games, and the defense able to, force some good stops, I mean, this team, this offense actually would not be. I mean, this is one of the worst offenses I've ever seen. I mean, I know people might have watched Iowa, but we look like Iowa. I'm talking about no offense. We look horrible. Straight defense, no offense. And as good as we think the defense is at the moment, let's be honest. We ain't too high on our corners. We're not too high on our secondary in general. We know how it can look coming Saturday. We know how it could look. I'm not too high on the secondary. I already know some of the fans are going to be acting surprised like, what's going on? What's going on? The secondary ain't been good for years. Wasn't good when Riley came around. Shit, I'm going to tell you this. Secondary wasn't, well, I ain't going to go too bad on Bob. Bob did a good job building the secondary, especially getting Tony Jefferson. Got Colvin at one point. You got some good safeties. Back then, Thomas, Parker. So you did what you had to do as far as getting some secondary. But that secondary wasn't shut down, locked down corners. Tennessee's going to come out trying to make it a shootout. So it's going to be a game where we're going to have to see some type of defensive play for sure. And I don't know if the defense is able to hold up to help this horrible offense, still struggle to put up 7 points in a quarter, let alone 3 points in a quarter. They struggle with that. So, I mean, if I'm Tennessee, I'm just thinking straight shootout. I mean, do you think Oklahoma's going to catch up and score points? I don't think so. And if you say that Oklahoma will catch up and score points, you're crazy because this offense hasn't showed a team that could even touch 50 again in a season. I don't even think this offense at the moment right now can touch 50 points in a season. So we need to figure out some things pronto. And I don't think this offense is going to be a hurry up and go score type of offense. We got to just work our way downfield. It doesn't matter if it's slow. It doesn't matter if we're just at this point, man, we just need to go worry about picking up first downs. And hopefully one of the, guys who get the ball in open field are able to make a little extra yards after a catch or extra yards after a run and help us get, close to field goal range and close to the red zone. Because the way they don't look good. And it's not Arnold's fault. Like I said, I really think Littrell has to open up this playbook. And we have to see what Arnold can really do. But like I said, I am a team guy. If Arnold is not right and he's not looking like a winning quarterback, an Oklahoma type quarterback. Not only just for Oklahoma, but for the team in general, any football team. It doesn't matter where he goes play football at. If he was at Notre Dame, I would say the same thing. But he just so happens to be on my favorite team. So, like I said, if he's not playing good past Texas, I mean, I would bench him. Yes, I would bench him because I'm a team guy. And I think the people that want him to see him bench right now are team people too. They're just a little they're just overreacting a little bit right now. But if he is not making the team better, he needs to be on the bench. Do I think that you do that anytime now? No. Do you panic after you lose to Tennessee? If we lose to Tennessee, no, you don't. Do you panic if you lose to Auburn? No, you don't. I mean, I would, wait after the Texas game because you would pretty much know how the season has played out after that, Texas game. You'll know how the season plays out. So I'm not one to really care about, and I wouldn't be hurt about it. If you had to bench him, I wouldn't be hurt about it. Like I said, I'm a team guy. Some people might be hurt about it. Some fans might call it bullshit. That is what it is. But I'm a team guy. So, with that being said, I don't care if you're a 5-star. I don't care if you're an 8-star, if that's even possible. Obviously, it's not. But I don't care how many stars you got. I don't care if you have any stars. I care about, are you a good football player and can you do your job on the football field? And do you make this team better in any aspect on the football field? So that's who I want to see out there. I want to see the players that make the football team better. I want to see the people that know how to do their job. I want to see the people that understand the game, that pay attention to the game. So that's what I like to see. So I'm by no means am I in favor of benching the guy. I think you guys are crazy to say bench him. I think that he's fine. I think that he will be fine. I just don't understand what happened from the Arizona game. Yes, he did turn the ball over too many times. But that's part of the reason is because you're forcing him to throw to Stoops 18 times in a football game. And I'm glad we're in the SEC and that shit has stopped. And we don't have to see none of that stuff anymore. Because nobody is throwing a pass in the SEC to one receiver 18 times per game. Alabama has a 17-year-old at wide receiver who is probably arguably one of the best receivers in college football right now off of what I've seen out of the 17-year-old kid who is a true freshman who reclassified. He doesn't even get 18 targets, let alone he doesn't even get 5 targets in a football game.